Now we continue our Saturday stack. Top Guns.
All I'd like to say is that
This is one of the RAF's brightest and best navigators. He's waiting to fly a testing simulated war mission. He's 23 years old and the youngest man in his squadron.
it means I can hang out with the pixies and not look out of place. Get myself a fishing rod, a nice garden pond. Be good.
He's a member of the British Tornado Fighter Squadron, which is taking part in 10 days of hazardous Canadian war games.
That's what I say.
Today, he and the rest of his combat flight are in high spirits. They're about to go flying.
And really, as long as you've got a good hat and you've got your health and you can shoot people, I mean, what else do you want, really?
Collision avoidance standard, cease combat standard.
The RAF's 29 Fighter Air Defence Squadron is preparing for a combat mission.
Warnings have all been checked, ComSec as always.
This is B-Flight. They're flying the afternoon sorties in this maple flag exercise.
He didn't mention it. The point he gave was for the guys dropping bombs.
Coincidentally, they have a Canadian pilot with
10
them.
miles east of that, there's guys with rockets. So if you see some big Jesus white smoke trails come off, get out of there.
Captain Doug Carter is on official attachment to the RAF for 2 years. He's quickly become an integral member of the squadron.
Yeah, from my experience, the Brits and the Canadians are very, very much alike. Very serious about the job. The training is quite intense and quite difficult, and the standard is high.
Carter's navigator, backseater, is the young flying officer with a sense of humour, Justin Reuter.
I'm going to get dressed in about 5 minutes. I'll see you there.
It's the blue skies, sunny day. What I need now is a pair of expensive sunglasses. Unfortunately, mine are very unfashionable.
He's, I wouldn't say a rare mix, but it's not every guy that is good socially, you know, and as well as a good operator. And yeah, we get along great, and he's a good operator.
I like being the youngest on the squadron. It's actually a position of strength, because at first people don't take you seriously, and then once you start proving that you can do the job, they take you seriously and accept the fact that you're the youngest and you can get away with maybe a bit more than you should.
Captain Carter was based here at Cold Lake, one of the Canadian Air Force's top guns. He used to fly American-made single-seater F-18s, known as Hornets. These machines are flown by the best from the American Navy and Marine Corps, as well as the Canadian Air Force.
I actually grew up about a 3-hour drive east of here, and spent about 5.5 years living here. Was posted here on F-5's training and on Hornets and operational Hornets here as well.
In order to join this RAF squadron, Carter had to retrain to learn to fly the Tornado F-3 fighter and to share the cockpit with another.
It's a little bit difficult switching to a new airplane because you've got a lot of habits with a certain airplane. I've had to work harder than I thought I would to sort of break the habits technically anyway about how to run the airplane. The F-3 is a fun airplane to fly. It's got lots of good things about it that make up for some of the drawbacks. The F-3 was built specifically to intercept, so it's very, very fast. It's very fast down low. It's got good endurance, stay airborne a reasonably long time for a fighter. It's a 2-seat airplane, so the thing I had to come to grips with is how to work with someone else, so which I still haven't totally mastered. There are still times when I don't quite know how much I should be trying to take on myself and how much help I need to be giving the backseater or what to expect from him, but I've pretty well got it sorted out, I think. At first, of course, I didn't talk at all, and probably went through a period of talking too much. So, yeah, it takes a little getting used to have a guy in the back seat to have to work with.
In white and auto.
Yes.
Auto lights out. Okay, showing 4830 now. The split's okay. It's narrowed down to about 1 in 50.
He's got different ideas about how to do things, and it's quite refreshing. He's obviously a very experienced guy. He's a fighter weapons instructor in his own country, and he's got a massive wealth of experience, which is very, very useful indeed.
Be advised, Maple Flag launch is now in progress.
I've always loved flying. I was a big aviation kind of a freak when I was a kid, and my dad was, although a long time ago in the Second War, he was a flight engineer and whatnot, and he was a big aviation enthusiast, and it's just always been something I wanted to do. I'm very fortunate to come and work inside a different Air Force. There aren't that many people that have had the pleasure of doing that. One thing you can say, for example, I mean, the British are highly regarded, I think, by everyone. So that's a very positive thing, and I think they know that. I think it comes across. Most of them, of course, would think that they themselves were probably a cut above the rest.
Spike 6. Emerging with one crossing your nose, left, right.
Fucking Spike 6, bastard. F-16.
You got main nose 5 miles.
1960 on the gas, 400 to bug out.
Yeah.
Just gonna have to run.
Of course, you're talking back and forth all the time. A lot of talk goes on front to back and vice versa. But as far as actually handling the airplane, I very rarely actually remember to be a little bit gentle or warn the guy before I do something. I have a couple times had a complaint from the back seat because there was no warning given and a lot of G comes on, and of course you can hurt somebody doing that. What we call positive G, when you pull backward stick force, obviously the acceleration, the vision, or the apparent acceleration is straight down in your seat, sort of thing, so that your entire body gets heavier and heavier. A very mild example would be when an elevator first starts up and you feel a tiny bit heavy for a second, to the point where, say, at 6G, your entire body will, in theory, if you were stood on a weigh scale, would weigh 6 times its normal amount. The obvious problems with that are if you're trying to lift your hands to reach a switch under that kind of G, it takes an awful lot of strength to do that. By the same token, if you're trying to spin your head around under that kind of G, where your head normally weighs, I don't know what it is, 10 or so pounds plus a helmet, it's going to weigh, up in the neighborhood of 75 or 80 pounds. So until you build the neck up and whatnot, you can really hurt yourself with that kind of thing.
10 miles, right to left crosser on the nose. Picked up an F-15 spot.
Okay, we're still spotted right to
yeah, we're at 10 miles, it's no escape, 10 miles.
I don't think that's him, right? So it could be, but that Spike's coming from... Fuck, that's him. He's got a wingman there.
To the same bandits are 03011, tactical.
I think most people agree that once you get used to it, it's quite addictive. It's actually a good feeling to pull G if you worked yourself up into it. Anything over about 6.5 is painful, so in the F3 we very rarely have to worry about that. But up to that point, it's very comfortable. And the noises you hear are just a case of trying to keep the blood up in your upper body rather than, if you just totally relax, obviously, it'll cool down to your feet and you'll lose consciousness eventually.
Let's get it accelerating as fast as we can.
Yeah.
Just gonna have to keep running. Looks like we're all being pushed out. Now naked in the stern, we're gonna have to keep running anyway.
Yeah, we'll give it another 20 seconds or so.
We could start leaning slightly left.
Slugger 4, you got a group of bandits north 3 miles.
Shit, more spots. F-18, F-15.
2 is 2595 at a running spotted stern. Still spotted.
That's got to be the guy chasing us down that the Vipers are on.
Hot, bullseye 27026.
2407 is just south of us, yeah, right?
Yeah, happy with that.
Hopefully that's those fucking F-15s.
Second group, 21528.
Tell them we're naked now. Ah, fuck, there comes the spotter. Slugger 3-1, position 30066, Spike going north. 36 is out, TV,
Okay, Slugger 3-1's well north of us, no chance of meeting up with him. Still keep getting those spots, you fucker. Okay, we've got one jaded buddy engaging him, trying to find him in our stern. Looks like he's just south of us. I think that's Stumpy. We're now naked, mate. Choose naked, recommitting left. Need to swap our height on the way up.
Yeah, I'm going to take it all the way up. Service contact on those 270.
Multiple spots on the nose. Let's fucking get out of here.
Yeah, I enjoy it all, I don't know that there's... it's very hard to describe. It's hard to describe why it's such good fun, but it's a great job. I don't know, we're very fortunate, I think, to get paid to do it. It's, people ask, well, don't you think it's dangerous? I really don't think it is. I mean, it's if you look at the statistics, statistically, it's not a very dangerous job. It scares people to watch, I think, because if they're not used to it and they don't actually realize the control you have in the airplane, flying low and fast and around things and proximity to other aircraft, they feel a bit anxious about it. But no, it's just good fun, good exciting job. So.
The simulated combat missions last less than an hour. The actual fight, only 20 minutes or so.
Wanting to do the job is all about the thrill of it. I get a massive kick out of it. I always have since I started training. An enormous high every time I fly. And when you come down from a good sortie, you're really humming. You really feel great for absolutely hours, maybe even days afterwards. So that's the enjoyment of actually doing the job. Making a good navigator, working as a team. There's a certain amount of latent skill, but it's working as a team and getting on with someone that really makes you a reasonable navigator, I think. As with most of the pilots, in fact nearly all of the pilots in the squadron, you trust them 100%. The guys who first come on the squadron, it takes a while to get used to them, so nobody gives them 100% of trust. In fact, no navigator will probably give a pilot 100% of trust all the time, simply because it's your life. But most of the pilots on the squadron, especially as soon as they're combat ready, you've got to trust them with your life, because you've got to get on with your own job in the back. You can't be worrying about whether they're going to fly you into the ground all the time. You've got to keep an eye on it and make sure you're safe all the times, but you can't think about that to the detriment of your job.